Bonjour people and como están? Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to build a very interesting underground jungle storage house area type thing. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. Okay, so as I start to build some stuff on the screen here, I just want to say that this video, or the raw footage of it, was recorded on Twitch. So if you ever want to catch one of these builds being done live, or want to ask some questions, or want to do anything like that, just chat, give some ideas or any feedback or anything like that, go check out Twitch in the description and go ahead and say hi. The videos are, I normally build these things Fridays at 9 p.m. Mountain Time. You can do the conversion from there for your own time zones. But yeah, if you have anything you want to say, any comments, any ideas, go ahead and jump over on Twitch and I'll be happy to chat all about it while I'm working on the build for the following week. So with that being said, right now what I'm doing is I'm building platforms around this jungle area that I found, so I have a better idea of what I'm going to build and where I'm going to build it. I have some idea when I start planning these builds, but I don't have a full blown out plan for these. I just find spots I find interesting and I sort of just start laying stuff out, and I just go with the flow as I start building it. So right now, these platforms just are giving me an idea of where I want to put all my different houses or different components of these storage houses. And from there, it's just what I want to move on with next. Okay, so now that I have platforms done, I'm just going to go in and put up some stone walls here. It's the, I don't remember what the hell they're called. It's the fancy stone is just what I call it. And basically what I'm doing is I did some math to figure out where the peak of my circle, sphere, hemisphere type weird dome shape is going to peak. And I just started building this dome type styled architecture. This build is going to be rustic in style, hence the brown painted, whatever, temple brick is what I call it. I think it's actually lizard brick. But it's just the stone slab with some brown painted iron. I went ahead and got a bunch of extra stuff on the side, so I have a lot more tools to use for these builds, so hopefully they start looking a lot better. But besides that, all of this is stone slab, the brown painted iron, and then there'll be some normal stone with some of the lava moss in it. And for the doors, I decided to use the gates this time because this really isn't like a house to say. It can be if you want to make this middle part a house. I just made it a pylon room for now, which will probably change, but I just made it like that because I had the, whatever it's called, the ultimate pylon, because I didn't realize that you could only use that once in a world. I thought you could place multiple, but besides that, it's there and it exists, and I might change it up later, maybe on the stream even, so keep an eye out for that. But besides that, I started working on the inside of the house once I got the outside done, and my idea for this was just to make it decorative, have a lot of decor in it is what I'm trying to say. So some books, some critters in cages, and then put the pylon in the middle, as you'll see here in a sec. Okay, so as I start pulling in towards the end of this build to get out some not so important stuff, I put in walls and terrariums and some of the different platforms in, and the wall is just brown painted Martian wall. I've got some of the lava plants that are going to be painted some fun purple colors, just because it looks cool and I want to add in some contrast, and then the pylon's got sky blue on the bottom. And for this part, it is just decorative. There really isn't much to it. I just want to add some sort of nice feature in the middle and make it look nice and pretty. The lamps here are going to change. I used the diamond ones just because it fit really well with that like glowing background. But instead they're going to be the bronze lanterns that you'll see me change later on, or they'll just magically change. I don't know. So next up was working on this smaller like offset. It was sort of just like the entrance to this area, sort of like toll booth type gate, if you would say. I'm not entirely sure what to call it. I just liked it, so I put it in. I really like having smaller like entrance sections to larger places, larger places. I just like having these like markers for where a certain area starts and ends, and I think it just adds that touch of like, ooh, here's a new place. But besides that, I put in these lanterns. These are the ones I like, the bronze lanterns, and then I just did that roof all out of the brown painted iron just because it looks cool and it gave it sort of a coppery look. But then from there, it was on to mapping out what I wanted the far right building to be. This one is the one that has the plant farm. in it just because, wow, my voice is acting great right now. It's got the plant farm in it just to be able to have some sort of plant aspect in there. I'll probably make a larger plant, a more plant dedicated farm in the future, but I think for the purposes of this build, it worked well. It's just a smaller build, so it didn't need a massive area for plants. I did want to use that weird circle type thing in the top right, but I couldn't really figure out a way to use it, so you'll see here in a bit I'll actually go ahead and fill it up because I just didn't know what to do with it. It was sitting there, I tried to incorporate it, but I think if I flip-flopped the design so the taller part was on the right and the shorter part on the left, then it would have worked a lot better, but that's an after fact, so maybe I'll do something like that in the future. Now, the plants here, I wanted to have them offset from the building by just a beam to have a bit more like structure to them, and it's every single plant platform type box thing you can get, so it's a full array of the potion plants that you'll need that you can grow normally. In the future, the actual like full-fledged plant booth thing will have the more uncommon plants that grow more wild. And with that, I just went ahead and started filling in that weird little area that I didn't end up using and carving out a bit more space above the area there. And then internally in this building, it was just a storage building for the plants, so I went ahead, grabbed an array of different chests that were jungle themed in a way, and then just filled in the extra area with some books, put some platforms on the side so that they didn't just float in the middle of nowhere, and I went ahead and put in the Martian back wall. This is just the back wall I'm using for everything. I just really like the look of it. And then the one thing I do repeatedly in this build is use bamboo fencing for window type lighting. You'll see me do it a lot just because it works really well, and a trick with bamboo is if you're using beam, you can put bamboo fencing just behind the beam and paint it brown, and it looks like the beam isn't like so sharp with edges. It's a bit organic because you'll get a few leaves sticking out, but you get natural light through the beams, so it adds a lot more light to the build without needing to place a bunch of torches. So here I'm just carving out the inside. I put down some of the strange plants to try and add some more, like, it's not fauna, but it's plants. I don't know the term for it. But they didn't really work, so eventually they do get removed just because it seems too much, and normal plants, or the standard plants, will grow in there anyways. At the bottom of the building, I just put in a table and some whatchamacallits. They are trees. Not sure why I forgot how to say a tree, but that's fine. Put some trees there, some potted trees, a table which is gonna have some glass bottles, and a little candle on it. And that was just about it for that build, and I actually really like the way that inside turned out. It's really nice, like, spire type, that's not the right word, really nice, like, column type building thing. I'm not sure where my words are going, but that's fine. So, moving on from there, I went ahead and put some actual support underneath the left building. I did these in a weird fashion how I built them. I didn't really do them one by one. I sort of just built frames and then adjusted them as needed to fit the others. I tried to keep only the bamboo as openings in the wall and put back the jungle leaf wall, whatever it's called, after I placed and painted the bamboo just to give that small building some structure. Inside that smaller structure there will be walls and some plants. Here I go. You've got the little palm. I really want to keep all the trees like even or in color beside that middle part, just make the middle stand out that much more. So I just kept the trees simple with the green styles that they matched more with the surrounding area, and they didn't stand out too much or make too much of a statement. I had some fun trying to place some purple walls because I had the paint sprayer on and forgot that the walls existed there. But then I removed some of the jungle mud wall and I didn't know how to get it back, so I put some of this, I believe it's the old stone. It's my favorite type of wall to use in the jungle, but it's some old stone type wall, and I'll use that to actually bridge the gap between some of these houses here in a bit when I start working on the background of this build. And then to connect the houses together, I first decided to try and use platforms with the stairs in the middle, but I thought they needed a bit more structure, so I used some dynasty wood to build in between, and then just used platforms to put stairs, actual stairs, into the splits. The platforms themselves, I've said this once before, but they're just sandstone platforms. They're painted brown, just because I like the look of sandstone platforms so much better, because it's so much thicker than the standard wood platform, and I think it looks a lot better with the yellows and oranges that have been put into this build, and it gives more of that like orange-yellow tinge to the brown that normally exists. And then I tried to figure out how I was going to build down to the bottom platform there. That was just like the ultimate storage area. It's just where it's not like ultimate as in the best, it's ultimate as in that's where all the storage for this build is. So I needed some way to get down there. It took, and I sort of like how it looks, sort of don't. Might change it, might not. We'll see here in the future. But I decided to go ahead and actually put in the foundation for that right house to more define what the bottom one was going to look like. The bottom one isn't like a full house. It's got walls, but at the same time, it's missing like half the walls, just because I didn't want to remove those crucial bamboo beams that are there on the right. So I don't, and I just do some fun stone stuff. I also tried to mess around with lights, so I put some Christmas lights on the trees to try and do stuff and make it on the trees. Those are houses. Wait, I put Christmas lights on the houses to try and make it look better, but that didn't work. So I just slapped torches all over the place because that works. And those do get changed before you start questioning my tactics. Those do get changed. So then slap down some more bronze torches so that why are my words not working? I slapped down some more of the bronze lanterns. I ended up curving out all the roofs. That one just became a point, which I really didn't care about. And then I started using the bronze lanterns to give more of a natural light glow because I don't like the jungle torches. But I have the torch god's wish and I didn't want to turn it off. So I just left it on and changed torches out in the end here. So this bottom structure, it's got 2 side walls that are built in the same way as all the 3 upper structures. It just really doesn't have a roof. Actually, let me clarify, it doesn't have a roof whatsoever. It's just got like some structural walls as a way to like keep things out, if that makes any sense, even though it's sort of like already caved off. But it was more just for the aspect of saying, hey, here's an actual like wall. And then I made the stairs going downwards with some beams and just tried to make a staircase. Something simple. I could only work in a 2x2 area, so I didn't try and make something wrap around or anything like that. So then I just went all the way down, and I think for this part, everything's pretty much the same except for the wall on the right stays grass, and I added some gear walls. So I'm gonna skip ahead here a quick sec so I can save some time and save my voice from talking for so long. So yeah. Okay, so now that bottom section is complete, and I'm moving on to building in background walls for this entire base. So background walls, I just built these sort of connections with the old stone background wall. Don't remember what it's called still, that's fine. But I'll use that more in, wow, words are fun. I'll use that more towards the end. So now I need to build an entrance to this space because I do want to get rid of the pylon at some point, whatever time period I'm supposed to be speaking of right now, but I'm too lazy to do that right now, and later on it will need an actual like entrance type area. So what I'm first doing is I'm closing off most of the entrances and gaps to this main pocket hole thing that I had to climb down to get to this build so that I can get a better idea of how I'm going to better terraform it or better shape it so that I can make it to this build later on in this whatever set I'm doing. So I just went ahead, shaped it out, and pulled out the Martian mining rig thing, don't ask me what it's called, and just started digging away at it, opening it up so I have more to mess around with. So everything got seeds on it, and I went ahead and started putting some background wall on it. So I don't have any mud wall for the jungle. So instead what I did was I blended in the old stone wall into the mud so that it looked like the stone wall, old stone, whatever it's called, still don't remember. It looks like it's an after effect of creating this hole, so it's a bit more like, so it doesn't feel so natural and feels a bit more like a forced hole through the center of the earth, if you understand anything of what I'm saying. Basically, just a way to show like, this is the way down, and this is the way I mine to get down to the space, and then it just gives me a way to even out the edges towards that open spot in the middle to allow a lot of light in, and just lets me better blend that old stone into the design. Then I just decided this was a mining town at a random point and started putting in random ores all around the build. They were all just hidden in the back and just made to just disappear, and then my editing went somewhere and I'm not sure where, so I put all of those in and I slapped a bunch of the old the bronze candles everywhere, so those got placed to get rid of all the torches, have better lighting. And I started putting pillars since it was a mining town for some reason, and they needed support in the tunnels. Still don't know what I did or how I got to this idea, but I just did, so I'm just going with it at this point. So all these pillars, I put them in, and then I gave them mudstone roots and ceilings, if that makes sense. Basically just rooted them in using mudstone, and anything that is connected to the mud had mudstone put there instead of mud, because if you think about it, you can't really stab a lantern into mud and hope for it to sit, because if it's mud, it's sort of just going to slowly fall out because gravity exists. So yeah, that was about all I did for that. I just went around, I placed that in most places, and then I started working on the steps to get down into the pit. I sort of thought about doing a hoik, but I was also lazy and didn't want to look up how to make a hoik, so we ended up with this sort of like spiral staircase type thing. I also didn't want to go like full spiral, mostly because I forgot how to, and didn't want to look it up, so I just didn't. I just did this like zigzag type of pattern, and I went ahead and used the brown painted Martian wall again, just because I like the look of it, and uniformity in design. That's not a word, but that's also fine. So I did that throughout the entire background, and as you'll see, I also bordered it with some stone wall just because it looked nicer, and I went ahead and did some more backing around the side so there's no open spot, so it looked a lot more structured there in the middle. And then right now, it looks really bad. Trust me, it looks a lot better for that middle center part, so it's not so, like, ugly. So there's the... I don't remember what I put here. It's something painted brown. I think it's a stone brick painted brown that I put in there. Don't remember. You can probably pause the video and see very clearly what it is. I'm not going to do that for editing's sake. So yeah, that was just about everything for that middle part, and now it was a matter of putting in decorations, and then I first started off with some arrows to sort of just show the direction to the town, just because I felt like it, and I hadn't used arrows at any point in time, so I thought, why not use them here? They fit well, and they look pretty nice in the after effect, or in the end of the build. Again, not sure what I'm saying. So then I just slapped a bunch of banners around, and I did a lot of different decoration things. Brown painted paintings look really cool, as you'll see here when I was trying to figure out what the hell I was doing, and while I was fixing the lights on the inside of this building. I was also putting in some stuff in the middle to fill in that space, but the brown painted paintings, they look just old and rustic, so it gives more of that sense of like, this is an old storage place. I'm not sure why those lanterns haven't changed. To be honest, I don't remember when I changed those. I thought it was earlier, but apparently not. But anyways, to save the end for now, that's the entire build. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this build. There you can see all the old paintings and all that. This is a very interesting build that was definitely very different than what I was expecting to do when I first got into this, but I liked it. Having a dedicated storage place that looks nice is difficult, and I think this pulls it off pretty easily. So yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. And with that, that's about everything. I'm just rambling at this point. It's 9 at night. I just started recording, like, the first 5 minutes you listen to, like, 3 hours after I started recording this audio. So yeah, it's time for me to finish editing this and getting everything together. So thank you for watching. Again, all these builds are streamed live on Twitch because I can and because it's fun. And if you guys want, go ahead and head over there. Links in the description. You can give me some tips. You can give me some ideas for what to build. All of that fun stuff. Might even get your name in the end of the video. Who knows? Maybe. So, with that being said, thank you for watching. Subscribe. Go check out some other videos in the Terraria design playlist. And I will see you guys in the next video I make. See ya!